Hello, I'm Darren50. As an active member of a number of car forums, I'm often inundated with helpful and sometimes cryptic emails. Not since the last El Presidente of Zanzibar was killed in a coup, and my bank account used to hide his millions, have I received something so vague and confusing as what arrived last week. As anyone who has picked up a wrench and posted on the internet about it will know, where you have gone before, someone else will eventually ask for help. Usually these questions are at least fractionally related to something you may have done, like that recent brake upgrade, and how those techniques could be applied to removing a melted cheese sandwich from a ceiling fan. Even after dealing with my friend Jess's abstract typing style, I thought I had seen the worst, but fear not, there is now a new standard. Let's take a look at the email from our friend Needshelp.
Hey Darren, I'm just wondering how much all the mechanes cost to get, because I need to do this to my Cutlass's engine. It removes the rust, right, because it has a ton of rust, and I still need to get an engine lift and all that, get new engine components and stuff to rebuild it, cause I need to get this car in working order so that I can drive it when I get my G2. And how do I get all the rust off the frames?
So the first thing that crossed my mind was deleted strong bad style. Then I thought maybe I should send along links to Wikipedia/grammar and Wikipedia/punctuation. Then have him get back to me. Then, thinking in the frame of mind that I usually approach telemarketers with, the idea hit me, lightning bolts kind of hit me. I wanted this to go on for a bit, so I started subtly. Hi, Needshelp, you've got to just slow down there, fella. I can try to help you out, but I need a little more info. Let's tackle the first bit.
Hey Darren, I'm just wondering how much all the mechanes cost to get.
What exactly is it you need? Tools, engine parts, mechanic work, or machines?
Because I need to do this to my Cutlass's engine.
What year and engine is your Cutlass, and what is the matter with it?
It removes the rust, right, because it has a ton of rust.
What removes rust? I take it you are looking to get rid of rust. That part can be fairly tricky. Are we talking surface rust or holes through metal kind of rust?
I still need to get an engine lift and all that, get new engine components.
Again, what year and engine is your Cutlass, and what is the matter with it?
I need to get this car in working order so that I can drive it when I get my G2.
I completely understand the hurry for wanting to get your first car on the road. I'll do my best to verbally help you along.
How do I get all the rust off the frames?
Again, are we talking surface rust or holes through metal kind of rust? Take a little bit of time, give each question a bit of thought, and compose it with the most amount of info, so that I can offer the best assistance. Also, pictures of trouble areas would be helpful. It didn't take long for the response to come back, and I must say I was rather excited to read it. There was the setup for the old one-to combo. I figured he might catch on to my somewhat glib remarks, but his return email didn't let me down. This time the email had an exclamation point icon to let me know it was important.
Hey Darren, THX for responding. It's a 1988 Cutlass Supreme SL multi-port fuel injected. It is surface rust on the car in the engine bay, and I'm not sure about the France. I think it's surface area as well, and I still need to get the parts, like save up and buy them and find them brand new cheap, and then get the engine out. I think the exhaust O2 source are busted off, but I don't see how it would have oil on it, and my tranny is leaking oil and I have no reverse. And could you help me with figuring out the problems in the rust? And I think the exhaust has a hole in it also. And BDW, I just got my G1 on last Tuesday, but I still need to get a job to afford my insurance as well. Get back to me, THX needs help.
And my helpful reply, hello Needshelp, I'll address your points in order of appearance.
Hey Darren, THX for responding. It's a 1988 Cutlass Supreme SL multi-port fuel injected.
No problem. The year and model really shines some light on the overall project.
It is surface rust on the car in the engine bay.
If it is just surface rust, then that is purely for appearance and should not affect operation of the car itself.
I'm not sure about the France. I think it's surface area as well.
The surface area of France is 547,030 square kilometers, but I assume you are referring to your frame only having surface rust. That shouldn't be a big deal either.
I still need to get the parts, like save up and buy them and find them brand new cheap.
Shopping around is key here. Get a list of parts suppliers local to yourself and make some calls. Don't forget that junkyards can be a goldmine of parts for a car of this age. Online sources are sometimes handy as well.
Then get the engine out.
This is a bit of an undertaking and should not be attempted without a far bit of research. I suggest purchasing a Haynes manual for the car to give you a better idea of what's ahead. This will also help with tool selection.
I think the exhaust O2 sensor busted off, but I don't see how it would have oil on it.
A broken O2 sensor sometimes happens. You will likely require a large open-ended wrench to remove it. A suitable replacement can be had new for about $80-100. An O2 sensor could have oil on it if the engine were excessively worn, which would push oil from the crankcase into the exhaust tract. This phenomenon is commonly called blow-by and usually is seen as blue/black smoke from the exhaust. This indicates that the engine should probably be rebuilt.
My tranny is leaking oil and I have no reverse.
This is something I would rate as a significant problem. Leaking oil could be the matter of a bad gasket, however reverse has become something of a necessity in today's motoring environment. You will notice this during the reversing and parking portions of your upcoming driver's exam. In this case, a home rebuild of a front drive GM automatic is not recommended for the novice mechanic. A quick look in the aforementioned Haynes manual will surely put this job into perspective, as they list it as not for the home mechanic. A visit to a transmission shop will give you an estimate of what this job might cost.
Could you help me with figuring out the problems in the rust?
As I said before, no problem, we'll see what we can do. Rust is pretty simple stuff to figure out. It's caused when iron is exposed to oxygen, which causes it to corrode. This process is called oxidization and is best prevented by sealing the iron found in the steel alloy of your car from exposure to air. Usually paint is the most common solution. Removing rust on can be a very laborious process. You can do it by hand using abrasives like sandpaper or steel wool, or for larger tasks the use of power tools become almost mandatory. Once you have ground away all the rust to fresh metal, be sure to seal it.
I think the exhaust has a WHOLE hole in it also.
Having a WHOLE hole exhaust is mandatory for operating a motor vehicle in Ontario. However, if you have a hole in your exhaust, then it must be repaired before registration. I suggest taking it to a competent shop for an estimate and subsequent repair. If the hole is not too large, then there are home patch kits which may get you legal for the road. These are commonly available from your local auto parts store.
BDW, I just got my G1 on last Tuesday.
Congratulations, you have just completed the first step towards becoming a motorist. Keep at it, young fellow.
I still need to get a job to afford my insurance as well.
Having cash to run a car goes hand in hand with vehicle ownership. A job can be found in a variety of places. Seeing as you will be requiring a large quantity of car parts, might I suggest employment at a parts store? This would be doubly effective as you may receive discounts for the parts you need and get that job you crave. Are there any further questions you have? Weeks later, I heard back from our friend Needshelp.
Hello Darren, just a quick update. I have got the car safetied, and now it needs the emissions test, but Speedy Muffler had plugged the emissions tube. When I had broadened it in for the exhaust job, it was everything but the O2 sensor and the manifolds, and let me tell you, it wasn't cheap. But oh well, you was wondering a good way to take a fairly large dent out of the front passenger fender. I have it basically off, but it's still held on from the bottom and it basically other than the carpentals in the dent. Then I just have to go get the insurance and find a job, lol.
At this point I was spent and shuffled him to the ignore list. However, stay tuned as I've got more emails from other oxygen thieves. Thanks for watching.